Have you ever wondered why lightsabers have different colors? Why Mace Windu uses a violet lightsaber? How about the true meaning behind green lightsabers? Well, if so, this video is for you.
The Force is what gives the Jedi his power. It's an energy field created by all living things. It surrounds us, it penetrates us, it binds the galaxy together.
Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. I'm a Jedi, like my father before me.
Hi everyone, Cave from the Legends Library here, and I'm sorry about the clickbaity thumbnail and the clickbaity title and the clickbaity intro, but that's kind of my little dig and my little parody at these kinds of videos that have been popping up. So without further ado, let's get into lightsabers, what the colors mean, what they don't mean, and part 1, what the lore says. Or rather, what it does not say. More or less, what the universe itself says about the lightsaber colors is very little, and usually just ends up being adjectives about the color itself more than the meaning. Now, it is true, once upon a time, 2003 and 2004 specifically, with the releases of Knights of the Old Republic 1 and Knights of the Old Republic 2, did we get a meaning to the three colors the Jedi of the time used. How it basically broke down was Guardians, who were more martial, used blue; Consulars, who were more focused on studying the Force, used green; and Yellow struck a balance between the two. Now, this is a very dumbed down version of how they explained it in the game, but the main reason these colors and roles were given in that situation was as a gameplay mechanic. Yes, the terms Consular and Guardian had been used in previous material, but it was in KOTOR that they were given a specific role in the Jedi Order. This served to give the game classes, as Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 ran off a version of the Star Wars D20 system, which was in turn based off the 3rd edition of Dungeons & Dragons, so classes were implemented to keep track of things like stats, the progression of your feats, and force powers, and the colors were a nice way to kind of give a little role to that. However, the colors symbolism ended there in the game, where on Dantooine you can inquire about other crystals and are told that changing your color is fine, as other sources of crystals exist. And yes, other sources in the continuity have referenced the colors in this symbolic meaning they were given in Knights of the Old Republic, and it has always been that symbolic, a role, but no source in universe to my knowledge, and my main sources being the Jedi vs. Sith, Guide to the Force, the Jedi Path, and the Book of Sith, as well as general Google searches and discussions, have pointed to colors having any real in-universe meaning, so videos saying otherwise should be taken with a large cup of salt as opposed to a grain of salt. Part 2. So what does the color mean? Well, as I've been explaining, the color really means nada. Characters are given colors for various reasons, but none as convoluted as what YouTube videos will have you believe. Take Corran Horn, for example. He has a silver lightsaber. Why? Because when he made his lightsaber, he used crystals that gave off that silver color. Why is Jason Solo's lightsaber green? Because the crystal he used was a green crystal. And yes, while there are more specific circumstances for, say, Luke Skywalker, who we find out in the story forged a synthetic crystal that ended up being green, it is for no reason of great symbolism to his strength in the Force, as YouTube again will have you believe. Why do 99% of the prequel Jedi use blue and green? Well, because Ilum produces green and blue crystals. And because in the movies specifically, George Lucas was still implementing the thing where the good guys used green and blue, Mace Windu aside, of course. And yes, it is true that the Sith have small symbolism in that they use red. Why? Because when they forge their synthetic crystals used to power their lightsabers, they do so using the dark side. And red, of course, must be the evil color because it's the angry color as it was set up by George Lucas in the original trilogy. So in essence, the Sith are the ones who get more symbolism in their color, be it as a base level of symbolism as it is. Part 3. Why they are what they are. So why does your favorite Jedi use a specifically colored lightsaber? Well, more or less whoever designed the character picked it for them. Or in certain cases like Anakin Skywalker, whose lightsaber ends up going to Luke, or Obi-Wan, it's because they have to have a blue lightsaber because that's the color their lightsaber is in the original trilogy. Or in the case of Anakin's original blue lightsaber from Attack of the Clones, it's because they wanted a similarity between Anakin and his son Luke, as Luke originally wielded Anakin's second lightsaber, which was blue, and they have a very similar hilt design. So it's a nice bit of symmetry there. Luke, in Return of the Jedi, after losing his father's lightsaber, has a green one. But why is it green? For the other two movies up to that point, good guys had blue, and Vader had red. Well, as I'm sure everyone watching this knows, during Return of the Jedi, they couldn't see the blue of Luke's lightsaber against the sky of Tatooine, because if you've ever noticed or watched some of the old trailers on TV or looked at some of the original posters, Luke has a blue lightsaber. And similarly, the only reason Mace Windu has a purple lightsaber is because Samuel Jackson wanted to stand out on the Geonosian arena, so he was given one after requesting it of George Lucas. And nowhere anywhere does it mention his purple lightsaber being symbolic of him towing the line between light and dark or being balanced in the Force or anything like that, because, as we all know, purple is red plus blue, so that must equal balance, right? Wrong. It produces a purple blade because that's the color of the crystal that he has, and no more than that. Part 4. The Mandela Effect and Fan Fiction. So where do we get these ridiculous symbolic ideas from? Well, mostly from watching YouTube, and taking those ideas given as fact, and spreading them around the internet like a fake news story. But where did those ideas come from? Well, from the mind of whoever wrote and uploaded the video. Previously I mentioned that the EU says nothing about the symbolism of the color of someone's lightsaber, so what I can only extrapolate is that the ideas of lightsaber color symbolism as being a work of fan fiction that we, over the years, have come to take as fact. And with the apparent lack of evidence to support it, I'm surprised that the idea got anywhere and as widespread as it did. Just for reference, I went on YouTube and typed in lightsaber color. Of the first 10 results, 9 of those were videos, air quotes, explaining lightsaber colors. The 10th, for reference, is a quiz to find out your lightsaber color, ripping off the idea from Knights of the Old Republic and making it more complicated with many more questions and more outcomes. Part 5. Closing. So what does this mean for your favorite hero or villain? Well, nothing, really. The color of their lightsaber has nothing to do with their character. Again, aside from maybe the Sith being that bad guys have to have red because it's the angry color, because that's what George Lucas decided in the 70s. Characters like Revan, Mace Windu, Luke, and others shouldn't have their character condensed into crystal color symbolism fanfiction post on a forum. They should be liked for their actions or dialogue, how they move the story and shape the universe they exist in, and how they inspired us to act out our own stories as kids playing with our plastic lightsabers growing up. With that, this has been Cade from the Legends Library. I hope you've enjoyed this short little video, and I will see you next time.